Hey guys, welcome back to Sweet and Sour Soccer with me, James, and Scott. I genuinely can't believe I'm saying this again. Newcastle won, Wolves won. 4 games in a row now. We've played them 6 times since we've been up in the league.
Yeah.
1 win, 5 draws. The bookies for the next game won't even accept bets on a 1-1 scoreline because they'll lose millions. So, what's your initial reaction, man?
Yeah, definitely. As you said, you could just predict a 1-1. I'm a bit gutted I didn't have a little bet on it, to be honest. I don't know. I just thought, surely it can't happen again, but it did. Yeah, to be honest, I had a sign that we weren't going to win just before kick-off. And I told you, didn't I? I ordered a nice pie and chips. We ordered a nice pie and chips from a pie shop. And anyway, it looked absolutely great, and then we realised they didn't give us the gravy. And I just thought this is not a good sign, and so I'm quite happy, to be honest, after that to come out with a draw, mate. To be honest with you, because I just thought that was a sign that when we didn't get that gravy to go with the pie, I just thought, yeah, this is not a good sign. But no, we've secured the draw, so yeah, just typical result, isn't it, against Newcastle?
Just a tale of two halves again, isn't it? I mean, when we're going to put in a 90-minute performance, I'll never know.
No, not at all. I mean, look, and Newcastle, they had, obviously they had Almiron come off. He looked a very dangerous player in the first half. Saint Maximin come off. I think that massively helped. I think they probably win the game if both those players were fit, because they just looked like a team that were fighting for their manager. Been quite a lot of pressure on Bruce, and yeah, especially the first half, it looked like a team that were fighting for their manager. And
yeah, in the first half, we made Saint Maximin look like Maradona. Like he was him and Traore today were the best two players on the pitch.
Definitely.
I think Neto close to them as well. He had a good game. But it was just about those two players today. If this was a top of the table clash, maybe in 50 years it could be. Those are the two kinds of players that the pundits would analyse before the game, like a head to head. Very similar players. If I'm going to give credit to Newcastle, it's the fact that they got the goal. They went 1-0 up. 17th time this season we've conceded first. It's very hard to win games when you do it so often.
I thought the goal itself showed that we've not got natural defenders playing in that defender's position. I mean, arguably you could say all three of them are midfielders. I mean, you would definitely argue Donk's a midfielder, and I think people would have opinions on the other two. Maybe Cody now is naturally a sweeper, but I thought the header away from Seiss was a bit weak. If you remember, he headed it. The initial ball comes in, he heads it away, but he heads it right to the feet of a Newcastle player. The ball then gets whipped in. No one's really on Lascelles. I thought he did quite well to find the space, but I was looking a bit at Donk. I think Donk, that was his man that maybe he should have been watching more. And I think that was just a player to me that I'm not convinced on Dendoncker as a centre-back. I think he is more of a midfielder, and I think he's probably filling a space.
That's all he's doing. I mean, I've watched the replay of their goal 3 or 4 times, as many times as they've shown it. Even I'm not deciding really who's at fault. It's not the best header in the world, but it's not a bad header. Seiss then comes out, I think, out of position, and Lascelles just comes kind of like over Cody's shoulder. Should Donks give Cody a shout? Maybe he does, I don't know. I don't really know who's at fault. I mean, funnily enough, it wasn't even the best header of the game. That goes to good old Ruben. He's not just a pen merchant anymore. What a header, coming away from him. The power he gets on it. The keeper should do better. He should save it. If that's Rui, I'm not happy at all, but...
Oh no, poor Steve Bruce can't catch a break. He decides to bring in a new keeper to help out the defence, maybe stabilise it a bit, and then he has that shocker, which a bit unlucky for Bruce in a way. But
I mean, he does redeem himself. That save at the end from Silva, and we'll come on to that. Him a bit later. But what a save at the end! Just kind of hits him.
He can't catch a break, can he, Silva? I mean,
no.
God. I think he does brilliantly. He does brilliantly with that chance, and as you say, we'll go into it more on player ratings, a bit more about him. But he does that chance alone. He does absolutely brilliant, I think, and just he's just always there in the right at the right place, the right time. He's just got to add that finishing touch, and but the ball itself, it's just slightly behind him, so he can't generate the power. But what he does, he perfectly directs it onto the goal, and as you say, it's just so unlucky. Going back just before then, I think it was around the 80th minute. We had the chance for Newcastle. It falls to, I think it's Joe Linton, isn't it? And Sice, right moment, right time. Thankfully, great block. Yeah.
I mean, you speak of players not being able to catch a break, and Joe Linton is another one. Obviously, Newcastle fans just don't rate him at all. But I mean, Sice has saved us a point there. And I mean, if we would have gone on to win the game in the last minute, he's got us 3 points effectively. So as much as you may try to criticise him for their goal, it clears one off the line, and it's as good as scoring at the other end. So
I mean, all in all, what do you feel about the result tonight? Do you feel that we were lucky? Do you feel that
I don't know how we can't just keep using the Raul excuse. I mean, it's been so long now. I'm not happy with the lineup. We'll go into Jose more on his player ratings. I want to spend a bit more time on those rather than speaking about the game for 20 minutes. But we've got to. It's getting to that point now where we can't just keep giving Nuno the benefit of the doubt because he's had injuries. It's not like we've got 7 or 8 injuries. We've just been unlucky that we've had long-term injuries, i.e. Bowley, Johnny, Raul. The lineup's got to be right. And for me, picking Jose over Silva is wrong. To go to the tactics as well, Almiron hits the post, the far post in the 12th or 13th minute, I think. You've got the 3 slowest defenders in the league at centre-back. You've also then got Johnny, who again as a wing-back isn't the fastest, and Semedo's on the right side. This attack comes down our left, their right. And I watched it again because I brought this up in a different video. I think it was against Southampton when obviously their attack's so quick. And I thought, am I going to be able to bring this up again as Nuno learned? We're playing 30, 35 yards from the edge of our box with Dendoncker, Sice and Cody, the 3 slowest players in football. And Almiron, it's just one pass and over the top and he skipped on through. I don't know where this idea has come from playing such a high line.
The one thing I would say about that though is I feel it was more was it Cody that was in the position that he was the player on the left. I feel it was either Sice or Cody. I can't remember exactly who it was, but they weren't very self-aware of Almiron, were they? They kind of just looked and went, "Oh God, there's a player in." So, is that Nuno's fault, or is that a lack of defensive awareness there?
There is no way anyone on this team does anything without the instruction of Nuno. We know that he's the godfather of that team. They see him like a father.
No, not the high line, but I mean, they didn't even spot that. They didn't even spot Almiron making the run. I was thinking, well, you've not even watched. There's a player literally behind you, and you don't even know he's there. They didn't know he was there, and you've mentioned it. We were very lucky not to go 1-0 down. I think we could have even gone in to half time, possibly 2. But very very lucky in the first half. I think we didn't perform for 30 minutes, and then performed for the last 15. And then the second half, we didn't perform probably for the first 20 minutes of that second half as well, and then performed for the last 20. So, it was. Look, I think a draw was a fair result. Should we move on to the player ratings? Let's start with Patricio. I'll go for a standard 7 out of 10. I thought, a standard 7. I mean, I don't know. I'm just giving him a 7 out of 10 to be honest. You can't blame him for the goal. I think that was. I'm still not sure who I blame. Possibly Dendoncker, but I think it was just really, really good positional awareness from Lascelles, and just gets a really strong header on it. And I don't really blame Patricio for that. Had a very good game. Other than that,
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 as well. If they had a goal disallowed in the first half, Saint Maximin was offside. Obviously, he saves that. If it goes in, if he doesn't save it, then Saint Maximin wouldn't have been interfering with play, so it would have counted. So it's a good save.
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy with a 7. Move on to Johnny.
Johnny, well, I'll go for both the wing backs here because I don't really have too much to say on them. I actually have given them both a 6. I was going to say it was good to see Johnny play the full game. I mean, he managed 90 minutes, but obviously just came off slightly at the end, didn't he, for the last minute or so. So that was, I mean, that's a positive. It's good to see him play, pretty much the full game. I don't think either of them had bad games, didn't have great games either. It's good to see Semedo continuing to get forward. Obviously, we've seen him come off, hopefully not a long-term injury, because I think we're really starting to see the quality from him. But apart from that, don't have too much really to say on either of them.
I think I'd give them. I think I'll give Semedo a 6. I will give Johnny a 7 though.
7.
I did watch him closely today. I love Johnny, man. He's one of my favourite players. I love him to bits. I think he was so good. He had a few attempts on goal. He won most things today, so I'll give him a 7. Move on to Sois. For me, I mean, I'll give him a 7. I can't blame him too much for the goal. It could be one of 3 players. Maybe there was 2 of them at fault, but I'll give him a 7. I was happy with him today.
I've gone for a 6, just slightly lower, and it was obviously I was going to give him a 5 at one point, but it was boosted by the clearance off the line. Obviously, great positional awareness from there. I've touched on it, didn't I, in the match reaction, I suppose, in that I just didn't. Just the goal, just before the goal, I feel he does a really weak header. It was a clearance, but didn't really put all his force behind it, and he put it straight into the Newcastle player's foot. So a little bit of criticism from there for me, but I'm going to go with that.
Fair enough. Cody, for me, I think he was good. You could hear him talking again, but that's standard of every game. Took one from Rui, double fist to the back of the head. It's just a standard Cody performance. Sprayed some good balls. Gets caught on the Almiron chance, and maybe could have done better with a goal, but I'll give him a 6.
Yeah, I've given him a 6 as well. Exact same as you said. I don't think there's too much to say on Cody, the Almiron chance. Obviously now the goal kick taker as well.
Well, yeah.
Seems to be working a bit better. That does seem to be working. We seem to be getting our distribution from goal kicks seems to be landing more towards our players' feet. Obviously, it's the one weakness of Patricio, and it is his kicking, which, so at the moment so far it's working. You're obviously always a bit nervous that at some point it's going to lead to an attack, a counter attack, and obviously Cody's going to be playing all the players on side at that point. But yeah, so 6 for Cody. Then Donker's my lowest rating out of the defence. I've actually gone for a 5.
I'll second that. Yeah.
He's filling the position, isn't he? I don't think he's not. I know he's played there for Belgium, but for me, he's more of a midfielder. I'd expect him to probably step more into the midfield role, especially as we see Moutinho playing less games. So I don't really want to be too critical on him. I've gave him a 5, but not his natural position.
Yeah, I'll second that. Not much to say on him. Just not a brilliant game. Not the worst. 5. Moutinho, I've gone for a 6. Thought he had, again, not a whole lot to say. The only thing with Moutinho, sometimes he gives away a bit of silly fouls in dangerous positions. The one which I kind of recall in the second half, if you remember the drop ball, I think it was after the Cody incident, wasn't it? He's obviously gone in just to make sure Shelvey doesn't have a shot from the drop ball. And he just stupidly pulled him down in what could have been a really dangerous position for Newcastle to have a shot or put a ball in. So he's done that a few times now where I'm just thinking you don't need to make the challenge there. But apart from that, bit of an average game, wasn't it? Yeah, I'll give him a 6. He's just tenacious, isn't he? He covers a lot of ground.
Yeah.
I think if we had better cover, I don't think he'd be playing the amount of minutes that he is. But it's just a standard Moutinho performance. I thought he played well. Moving on to Neves, his counterpart today. I'll give Neves a 7. I don't want to get carried away and start giving him 8 and 9s because of the goal. Listen, the goal was an amazing goal. It's good to see him get a header. It's good to see him arriving in the box. I keep saying he should be playing further forward. Get someone. There's not many people that actually agree with me, I'll be honest, but I really do think Neves can play better further up the field. People keep telling me he's a defensive midfielder. Is he, or is he just the way that we've brought him into this team, and that's what he's been now for 2-3 seasons? I don't see him as he's not a Makalele, obviously, but he's also not that kind of. He's not someone that's gonna bring the ball from the defence and take on a couple of players and get the ball up the pitch. I'd like to see him further forward. I think he can get more goals for me. I'm going to give him a 7 today.
Yeah, I'm also going to give him a 7. And touching on that, this is one where I disagree. I see him more as a defensive midfielder. He got the goal today, but he also had a few long range shots which were just absolutely hopeless. But we won't go too much in on him today for that. Long term, I definitely see him as a defensive midfielder. I think he models himself on a defensive midfielder as well. He obviously models himself on the Pirlo type player. Obviously, his celebrations are kind of respect towards Pirlo. The quote where he says, "I think there is something along the lines of I think therefore I play," and that's what the whole. So yeah. I think he probably sees himself falling into that defensive midfield position. I think Pirlo, I was going to say Pirlo himself started as an attacking mid though, didn't he? And fell further back.
Pirlo fell back into that role when he was playing with Pogba at Juventus. He wasn't expected to make challenges. He was kind of like a Moutinho, he'd cover a bit of ground. But his job was to get the ball out from defence and do it quickly. But Neves doesn't really do that anyway. So, I don't know. Pirlo fell into that defensive midfield role because of age, not because he's a defensive midfielder. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to touch on it too long. I think he had a good game.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to move on to Traore. For me, man of the match today.
Yeah, definitely Wolves is man of the match. Definitely, yeah. I've given him an 8.
I've gone for a 7. He didn't get the goal. Neto got the assist. There's a few chances where he goes down again. I'm thinking if you stayed on your feet there, we had a good chance of going forward, and a couple of chances where it was like 3-on-4, 4-on-3. He wins a lot of fouls. I think he got 3 players booked today.
He did. Yeah.
And you want to. I think 2 of them were in the first half, so it'd be nice to try and get a few more in the second half, try and get a man advantage. But I thought he was brilliant today. He was so direct. I'm hearing these clowns on Sky Sports at half time saying Adama looks lost. He's lost on the left and he's a world beater on the right. Again, I don't want to. I think it was Jermaine Beckford. I don't know. I didn't watch half time because my Chinese arrived, so I was too busy sorting that out. But I think it was Jermaine Beckford. He's got paid a couple £1,000 to talk absolute nonsense. And, these pundits are ridiculous. Let's not waste time on them. But yeah, he looks so good on that left now.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you say, he's found a great role on that left-hand side, playing as the inverted winger. And we're seeing a lot more of what I've been critical of with Adama. You mentioned, of course he fell over a few times. I say fell over, he drew the foul where you thought, oh, just stay on your feet. But he's doing it a lot more now. He's doing it a lot more where he is staying on his feet, looking to drive forward. And the one thing I've been critical of with Adama is when you ask him to pass the ball, he never used to do it in a way where you think you're generally trying to create a chance for someone here. It was almost like, oh, I can't do it by myself. I'll make a little pass here and
his passing is abysmal. We've known that since he's been here.
It is, but he seems to be doing it with more intent now. He seems to be trying to pass the ball more and to create chances to go forward. He's just doing it more with intent. He's passing with intent rather than just. And of course, it doesn't always come off, but really positive to see with Adama. And as you said, probably the man of the match, certainly in the Wolves case. Neto, I've given a 7.
Yeah, I agree with that. This kid again is just putting in 7 and 8 every week, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
He's going to walk player of the season. It's not even close. If he doesn't play for the rest of the season, I think he wins player of the season, young player of the season. I don't think he'll win young player of the year in the league. I think that'll go to Foden or Saka.
Oh, I saw something on Sky. It was like a little picture that had been done maybe by Sky Sports and of the young players of the season, and Neto's name wasn't even in that category. Like, they were given the odds. I don't know if it might have been another betting firm, but they were given the odds of the young player of the season, and he wasn't even in the conversation. And I was thinking, what an absolute joke.
How many players were on there?
There's a good, probably 8 or 9.
It's just that kind of small club thing. If he played at Everton or Liverpool, he'd probably be worth 300 million, and on favourites.
in their eyes, yeah, definitely.
It's just, again, people that don't know much about football but get paid a lot of money to talk about it. But in Neto, it's just consistent. Every week it's 7. It's either 7 or 8. It's either an assist or a goal, or he's got the assist of the assist as what I think now. It's just brilliant.
Yeah, definitely. I think to take himself to that next level, he probably just needs to be a bit more clinical in shooting.
Yeah, I think that'll come. You've got to remember, he is 20. Other players...
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying to take him to the next level, that's what he needs. There was a couple of times in both for both Adama and Neto, actually, where I thought, positioning-wise, when they were arriving at the back post, I thought if you just committed a bit earlier, you probably would have been onto a really good chance to slot it home. There was a couple of chances where Neto or Adama have hit to the back post, and I'm thinking... if the other one had made the run just a touch earlier, they probably could have got on the end of that, which was a shame, but something to work on. Let's move on to William Jose, probably the one we're going to speak the most on. And he's my lowest rating since doing this. I've given him a 1.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, I was going to give him a 2. I've got no issue with a 1. This guy is the only legalised theft in the planet. The guy's he's getting paid to not only do nothing. I made this comment in the football group. When people say he does nothing. Not only does this guy do nothing, he's actually worse for us. Like, he's actually... Not only is he bringing nothing, he's making us worse, because he's a detriment to Fabio Silva's learning.
Yeah. What
Fabio did in the last 10 minutes, and I'm not saying this to get clickbait or to take the piss out of Jose even more. Fabio did more in that last 10 minutes than Jose's done since he's been here. And the stats might actually back that up. I think he had 2 attempts on target, Fabio, or 3. I don't think Jose's had 3 attempts on goal since he's been here. When I say he's done more in 10 minutes than Jose's been at the club, I'm not saying this on purpose to make people laugh. I genuinely believe he did more in 10 minutes than Jose's done since he's been here. His movement's a joke. He went down, I think it was around the 30th minute, again, lay on the floor, looked at the ref. Mike Dean not even going to look at him, never mind tell him to give him a free kick, and they go and counter. It might have been the same maximum chance. This guy's a clown, no movement. I've seen people giving him plaudits for bringing the player forward for our goal. No, he did that all game. If you notice, every single time the ball came in the box, near post run, near post run. You throw enough shit at the wall, it's going to stick. Now, the one time he brings someone out, Neves scores with a header, but the guy's shocking. He can score 12, 15 goals in La Liga, scoring against Mallorca and Ibiza FC. He's not a Premier League player. He's one of the worst players I've seen for a long time. And I'm going back to, Kevin Doyle puts this guy to shame. That's how you hold up a ball. That's how you link play. And he used to get goals. This guy is fucking shit. I want him out the club tomorrow. I don't care if we've got a contract paying him 200 grand a week. Pay him. Just don't play him. Fuck him off. This guy is shit. Rant over, man. I'm sick of him. And this is where you can blame Nuno. I said this at the start. Nuno's got to start taking blame. If he keeps playing this knob and we don't keep scoring goals, I'm Nuno's biggest fan. If he takes us down, I'd consider keeping him on to get us back up. But if he keeps playing this guy, I'm going to have to go in on Nuno as well.
Yeah, I think you've touched it brilliantly there. The main thing for me is this guy is taking valuable minutes away from Fabio Silva and Fabio Silva's development. We haven't seen a terrible lot of him, and I don't want to slander him quite as much as you.
Mate, he's had like 6 games. It's getting past that 2-game.
Yeah, but I'm actually going to blame I'm going to blame the recruitment here. I'm going to blame the recruitment for actually bringing in William Jose, because I look at him as well, and clips that I've seen from Sociedad. I'm not going to pretend that I knew everything about him, but he's a player that.
Never heard of him.
No, but I mean, just clips I've watched of him before he was, he come into the club when we signed him, and I wanted to find out a bit about him. William Jose, to me, looks like a player where, if we're a team that are constantly putting balls in the box and constantly, giving him chances to.
Oh, we are. We must have put in at least 10 to 15 crosses today. That's what we do. The goal was a cross.
Oh,
but.
I
don't think he headed today. He actually won 2 headers in our box from corners, I think. His defensive work today would be a 9. His attacking work was like -4.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't. Yeah. I mean, look, I definitely don't want to stick up for him. I just don't think it weren't the right decision to bring him in. I don't really think he fits in well with the team and the way we want to play.
Yeah. Is he a Mendes client?
What's that?
Is he a Mendes client?
It's a good question. I don't think that would benefit on the loan signing, though, would it? But I suppose if he was,
fucking pay 18 million for him. 18 million pounds.
If that goes through, then we really do have to. If we sign William Jose, we really then do have to start asking questions, especially if he is a Mendes client. I really don't know at the moment. I want to flip this. I want to flip this into a positive for Fabio Silva. You spoke about he did more in 10 minutes.
What a guy. I love him, man.
What I want to say about Silva, right, is Silva for me at the moment, he isn't the perfect finisher. There's a lot to work on in his game. But what he's got is something that you can't teach. He has the knack of being in the right place at the right time. And he just does. He just does. I mean, you saw him with the ball in that won us the corner just before we had the actual chance. That was a ball that Seiss put in. And Fabio was there just to put real pressure on the Newcastle defender, which headed out for the corner and obviously then led to Fabio having that chance where he nearly scored. This is a guy that has something that you can't teach. Fabio has that knack of getting into the right position at the right times. And for these morons laying into him about his lack of goal scoring when he's 18 years old, absolute jokes. They're absolute jokes, because what they've got to realise is the fact that he does have this natural knack of being in the right place at the right time. And when he gets the experience and when he starts adding the shooting, we are going to have an absolute gem. We're going to have probably one of the best strikers in the league if we can keep hold of him. Because once he adds, once he bulks up a bit, I mean, people are criticising him that he needs to bulk up. The bloke's only 18. You know what I mean? Like, what are they expecting him to do at the age of 18? He's probably... Yeah. I mean, he will bulk up over time. In 3 seasons' time, whether he's with us or not, he's going to be a top striker somewhere. And we've just got to be careful not to dampen this kid's confidence and not to force him out the club and wanting to move away, because we're expecting an 18-year-old kid to be at the maximum potential at 18. You've got to see the quality that he has now, and the qualities that he has will make him a top striker to come. I'm really happy with Fabio. In terms of rating, I gave him a 7. Yeah.
I second that. I mean, I'll give him a 7. Every time the ball came in the box, he was so aggressive towards the ball. Whether it came off his shoulder, his arse, his head, he just wanted to win that ball. You mentioned it perfectly about the ball. Ian Wright had this, because I've seen an interview he's done where he said, so his old teacher said when his finishing wasn't brilliant, you will score goals because you're in the right place.
Yeah.
Get the finishing done and you'll be a great player. And Ian Wright admitted that himself. Do you remember the miss against Leicester where Schmeichel...
Oh, of course, yeah.
Toenail. It's a world-class save. Everyone's having a go at him. It's a good effort from Silva. But he's in that position again. This kid's going to go far. I don't want to bulk him up too much too soon, but
yeah, definitely. I think just quickly, obviously Hoover and Aït-Nouri, they both come on. I've given them 5 or 6, or not even worth arguing. They just both didn't have much time at all. Not really worth saying much more on them. Let's quick thoughts on Nuno. The lineup again possibly should have gone with Silva, but I thought it was refreshing to see that same lineup in 3 or 4 games. I thought it was refreshing to see the same lineup and starting to see some stability for me. You've got to remember that lineup had won us back-to-back wins. So I've got no criticism there. My criticism for him, and it's quite funny actually. I was talking to mate James, not you obviously, but I was speaking to mate James, and literally just before the Nevers goal came in, I said, "It's the 70th minute. We're 1-0 down, and we've not made a sub."
You were saying bring Nevers off.
No, look, thankfully not. No, I did want Jose off though for Silva. Look, there is the point of who else do you bring on at the moment, but I just don't get why Ventina and Gibbs White are both sitting on the bench at the moment when there's just no intention of using them, because, and I'm not even blaming Nuno for that. I just they just don't fit in. So I'm just confused. I'm just confused why they're even there at the moment.
It's a bit odd how we've made 3 substitutes today in a game that finished 1-1, and they were all defenders.
I'd still like to see Otazawi get some minutes too, but yeah.
For me today, I'm gonna give Nuno a 6 because I'm not happy that Jose's starting. Yeah, I'm not happy that Jose's starting. I don't. We know Nuno isn't the most attacking manager in the world. Maybe he's got an attacking coach that does all of that side. Maybe he doesn't do anything with it because he's just a defensive kind of manager. So
obviously a goalkeeper by trade too.
A goalkeeper by trade, yeah. Maybe his attacking coach is Jose's uncle, who's saying, this guy's...
You need to play him.
You need to see what this guy's doing off the ball. His class, you can't drop it. I'm not happy with Donk being in the defence anymore. I think it's getting to the point now where...
What's Kilman done wrong? Because I'd actually say Kilman, because we've not seen enough of Bolly this season because of his injuries, I'd say Kilman's been our best centre-back from what I've seen of him this year.
Will not play a left-sided footer in that right centre-back role. He'll stick Matinho there before he puts Kilman or Saiss on that right side. You can see the reasoning behind it, but I'd rather see Kilman at this point. We've got no defenders in the... We've seen all this potential coming through the academy in Otasowie and Morgan, Gibbs White and these kind of players. Have we got no centre-back in the reserves or the academy that can come in and...
We've got a talented centre-back, but I think he's... I can't remember his name, but the one talented centre-back we have, I think, is actually set to play the kind of Cody role from what I've been hearing. I can't recall his name, I won't. But... yeah, I think that's the one position we're probably lacking. I know Otazawi can play there, but I think he looks more of a defensive midfielder. So a bit like the Donk situation. So maybe not. And I really hope that's where the transfer money does go.
Jimenez will be a defender. Jimenez will be partner and Cody as well. And then we're gonna play Jimenez in defence. Jose will be up top for the next 5 years, and we'll go down.
Look, I think we'll both agree. Let's not sign Jose, and if we do, it's a joke. Should we leave it there? Let us know what you think. Are we being a bit harsh on Jose? I really don't think anyone's going to say they want to sign him. And but let us know. Do you think Silva should start over Jose? I think he should. Obviously, you clearly do as well. So yeah, let us know, and. Yeah, obviously, guys, we've got a new setup that we've been using. The audio might not be perfect tonight. But we are working to resolve it. And, yeah, so we'll keep on improving on that. But, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. As always, like, subscribe, and leave us a comment. Let us know your thoughts. Cheers.